Hello, it's Tony. I'm back again with my third installment of Scripture Made Simple. And as you will see from the comment below, it's about the timing of the rapture. Now, a lot of people say that there's no mention of the rapture in the Bible. But if you look at 1 Thessalonians 4:17, you will see that there's a Greek word that is used in there called harpazo, Harpazo, and that means caught up. If you use the Latin version of 1 Thessalonians 4:17 and translate it into English, you would see the word rapture. The raptures also, we've been told that it will precede the end times judgments, and that is in Romans 5:9, 1 Corinthians 15:51 to 53, 1 Thessalonians 1:10, and 1 Thessalonians 5:9, plus Revelation 3:10. Now, this is a controversial subject, and it's confusing to many Christians when this period of grace that we're living in under Jesus Christ is going to come to an end. It's really going to come to an end when the full number of people that Jesus decides is going to go up in the rapture is going to go up in the rapture. But how do we figure that out? What signs are there that this is going to happen? Well, the Bible is a book of sevens. The creation was 7 days. The 50th year in the Bible is the Jubilee, which is after 7 lots of 7. The Jews went into captivity in Babylon for 70 years. Okay, the 7 churches, the 7 archangels, only 2 of whom we know the name of. We lived for 70 years. The Jerusalem was destroyed in AD 70. It's a book replete with sevens, and in fact I believe the Lord's number is 7. But the entire Bible is 7. The wonderful thing about the Bible is its genealogy. If you go right back from Adam all the way through to Christ, it's roughly 4,000 years. And then after the tribulation, there's going to be a 1,000-year period called the millennium. That's 1,000 years. So that's 5,000 out of 7. That leaves an approximate period of 2,000 years before the rapture takes place from when Christ started his mission on earth at the age of 30. Jesus started preaching at the age of 30 because Levitical priests only had the authority to do so at the age of 30. And you know as well as I do, he went into temples and spoke to the elders and the Sadducees and all those people long before he turned 30, but he didn't have any authority in their eyes. So at the age of 30, this is a very simplistic thing, but it's just to give you food for thought. That's all I'm doing. If you add 2,000 years, which is the remaining 2,000 years out of the 7,000, to Christ's age of starting his ministry, that takes us to 2030. Now, I'm the last person that will try and figure out the date of the return of Christ. That's complete folly, or the rapture rather. But if you consider that the 2030 period will end after the tribulation, which is 7 years long, if you subtract 7 from 30, you get 2023. It's 2018. I believe in my heart that the rapture will take place sometime within the next decade. That's what I feel in my heart. I can't prove it, but I've been a Christian for 40 years. I've studied many, many scriptures, and I believe we're very close to it. The question then is, what is the trigger for this rapture going to be? Well, I believe that it will be the Battle of Ezekiel. 38, which is actually not a battle because God destroys Israel's enemies as they march south to destroy her. It will be this event that the Antichrist will sign the peace treaty with Israel over. When people, the Jews and people all over the world, see how Israel's enemies are destroyed as they march in their tens of thousands towards Israel, and they are destroyed by God, that people will know that this is a God event and that the God of Israel is alive. Okay. And for those of you who think that the Magog event happens after the millennium, there are two Magog invasions of Israel. There's one now and there's one at the end of the age in Revelation 20. So the trigger for this group of nations to attack Israel, in my opinion, is the very large gas fields, the Leviathan gas fields, that Israel has found off their northwest coast, which is very controversial because it's sitting abreast or even under territorial waters belonging to Lebanon and Syria. And as we speak, the West is ramping up all sorts of accusations against Russia for this, that, and the other, to try and get sanctions onto them, which I believe is a banking thing. The Russians don't want to conform to the world banking system, so they're going to have a go at them, just like they did with Hitler, like they did with Gaddafi in Iraq, wherever, Iran. They're going to try it. And so all these sanctions have been ramped up against Russia, and Russia exports its gas to Europe. Europe lives off European gas, Russian gas. Poland, I believe, is trying to become independent by building gas ports to have liquid gas imported by ocean containers. But at some point in time, I believe Europe will be independent of Russian gas, which will put huge amounts of pressure on the Russian economy. And I believe this gas could possibly come from Israel's new gas fields. And therefore, where it says in Ezekiel 38 that this coalition heads south to take plunder and spoils, well, I believe it's the gas and soon to be discovered oil fields. It's incredible that as we look right now at the Middle East, that the nations of Ezekiel 38 are right above Israel. There's Turkey, there's Russia, and there's Iran. Iran may be to the east of Israel, but their invasion route's always been through the north. So these are the people coming from the north, and the actual attack will also include the other people around Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and all those other stands. They all get together and head down south to take out Israel for once and all. So I believe as I've said in my second installment, the rapture has to take place before the tribulation, and the tribulation can't start with the Antichrist until there's been a peace treaty confirmed, and I believe it will be the Ezekiel 38 event that anchors that event, the signing of the peace treaty or the confirmation of it. You notice the King James says confirm, so they're confirming an existing treaty. Therefore, I think Jordan plays a very important part in this. But anyway, I believe that the rapture, for many different reasons of my own and certainly from study, will happen at roughly the time that this Ezekiel event takes place. That will cause such consternation on earth that people will be crying out for a solution at that point in time. So if you take that into consideration, there's a very strong possibility that the rapture could take place in the very near future. And it's anchored in time through other scriptures as well, with Israel becoming a nation state in one day, as it did on May the 14th, 1948, prophesied in, I think it was Isaiah 66, and also the Jewish people taking over Jerusalem. those are very, very significant. And you can look up the scriptures that refer to the fig tree, etc., Israel becoming a nation again, and the generation around the people who see that will see these events. This ties up pretty much when the rapture is going to happen. And my friends, I believe it's very close. So this little clip is basically food for thought for you. And I'm sure you have your own opinions, but leave your comments down below if you want to. And I look forward to sharing my next topic with you. Bye.